Hello everyone, so we are the group 1. So we are assigned to tackle the whole week 1. Week 1 is composed by 2 topics. First topic is economic activity, second is price theory and economic theory. So let's start the first topic, which is price theory and economic theory. The theory. In everyday use, the word theory often means an untested hunch, a light guess without supporting evidence. But for scientists, a theory has merely the opposite meaning. For example, is Big Bang Theory. We all know that some people they don't believe about that theory. It's because haka-haka lang. But the scientists, they prove that there is a Big Bang Theory. For more information, theory is just like thesis that we need to research or find some evidence. Next is variable. It's a factor that is subject to change, or in algebra, a symbol, usually a letter, standing in for an unknown numerical value in an equation. For example, is 1 plus x equals 3, so the variable there is x. Macroeconomics is a branch of economics that studies the economy as a whole, also known as national income analysis. And they focused on the performance of economies and changes. For example, is using interest, taxes, and rates. Microeconomics, the study of individuals, household, and firms' behavior in decisions making and allocations of resources, also known as price theory. Take note that microeconomics is the study of economics at an individual or a group or company level, while macroeconomics is the study of a national economy as a whole. So next is normative economics. Is an analysis of economics which deals with what should be. For example, is the government should provide basic healthcare to all citizens. We should cut taxes in half to increase disposable income levels. So from the word should. Next is positive economics. Is an analysis of economics which deals with what is also it is based on fact and cannot be approved or disapproved. Remember that positive economics is objective and only describes about fact, while normative economics is subjective and opinion. So next is empirical validation. Is the use of statistical evidence to prove the validity of the hypothesis and the degree to which the accuracy of a test or model. Teachers are using empirical validation to the students. It's because they check the effectiveness of a test and to determine how well the test measures. Again, empirical validation is supported by research evidence. Next is economic system. Is the framework in which a society decides on its economic problems, also which societies or governments organize and distribute available resources, services, and goods across or geographic region or country. So there are many different types of economic system used throughout the world. Some examples are socialism, communism, and capitalism. So next is functions. Depict the relationship between two or more variables. It shows how one variable, called the dependent variable, depends on another variable or variables called the independent variables.
Good day everyone, my name is James Ray P. Amigo from Group 1 and this is my report. Price theory and economic theory. Price theory states that the price for any good or service is based on the relationship between its supply and demand. Economic theory. Economic theory is a set of ideas about the economy that has been organized in a logical framework. So, there are two theory, which is microeconomic theory and macroeconomic theory. In this, both are applied to a special subject area such as monetary economics, international and finance, public finance, manpower economic, agricultural economics, regional economics, and so on. So, next is characteristics of microeconomics. So, this is what we should remember about characteristics of microeconomics is to look and study the decision of individual unit and look at how a price is determined and concerned with a social welfare and may also help to develop our skills. However, the characteristics of microeconomics also have key terms, which is the competitive market, government intervention, market failure, and elasticity. So, the last is economic model. Did you know that the microeconomics makes intensive use of modeling, comparative statistics, and mathematics? So, these economic model are used for forecasting possible incomes, financial plans, economic strategies, and etc. For example, the law of supply. The law of supply is a schedule of prices and quantities that a supplier would be willing to offer for sale at each price per period. So that's all of my report. Thank you.
Good evening, ma'am. My name is Joy Christine Natalie from Group 1. So we have a 3 model type of economy. Number 1 is free market economy. Number 2 is social market economy. Number 3 is government dominant market economy. Free market economy gives entrepreneurs the freedom to pursue profit by creating outputs that are more valuable than the input they use up, and free to fail and go out of business if they do not. An economic system in which economic decisions and the pricing of goods and services are guided by the interactions of countries, individual citizens, and businesses. There may be some government intervention or central planning, but usually these terms refers to an economy that is more market-oriented in general. Decisions making is done through voluntary transactions according to the laws of supplies and demand. Number 2 is social market economy. Social market economy balancing both the market economy presented as an indisputable and unsurpassable universal concept and the concerns for social justice. Is not a sort of third way between capitalism without limits and collective, both aims to combine on the basis of competitive economy, private initiative, and social progress. It is the state that explicitly guarantees the social of economics order, the former based on liberalism, which required a state with strong regulatory authority. Is not a completed system but an involving concept of remains an important factors in the political and social cohesion of the European Union. To reconcile the apparently contradictory elements may appear of the major innovations assessed of the social market economy aim to social security and equality by means of political interventions and measure in line with the market. We have read the government-dominant market economy, the last one. Protecting the welfare and properly of individual, maintaining law and order, enacting law that protects individuals and businesses in economic transaction, regulating business and providing public goods, provided the legal and social framework maintains competition, provides public goods and service, redistribute income, corrections for externalities, and establish the economy. Now we proceed. What is comparative statistic analysis and dynamic analysis? Comparative statistic analysis is comparison of two different economic outcomes before and after a change in some underlying exogenous parameter. Analyzing the impact of a change in the parameters. Comparing the equilibrium, the result from the change with the original equilibrium. When the demands and supplies of an item, the price is 1. Dynamic analysis is executing data in real time, examines code to identify issues within the logic and techniques to find errors in a program while it is running rather by repeatedly examining the code offline. Improve the diagnosis of corrections of bugs, memory issue, and crashes of an application during execution. So now we proceed what is partial equilibrium and what is general equilibrium. Partial equilibrium, one of the two variable simple method independent, does not account for the economic interaction between the various markets in a given economy. Based on the assumptions, other things being constant. When only a part of the market is taken into consideration to attain equilibrium, all other variables are considered to be constant. An equilibrium derived by considering the effects of only two variables at a time. So now what is the general equilibrium? Pinnacle of economic analysis, an equilibrium which is derived by considering the effect of many variables at a time, deals with all the variables of the economic system simultaneously or sophisticated. There is interdependence between variables. The branch of economics concerns by the simultaneous determinations of price and quantities and multiple interconnected market useful in explaining the functions of prices in an economy.
So, the next topic is economic activity. Economics is a social science concerned with man's problem of issuing scarce resources to satisfying unlimited wants. In Tagalog, kung ano-ano ang estado sa ating ekonomiya. Next is basic needs. Are man's need required for his survival? We all know what are basic needs of a man, like food, water, air, also a shelter. Next is luxury goods. Are goods that man can do without. While in economics, a luxury good is a good for which demand increases more than proportionally as income rises. For example, of a luxury goods is cars, gold, or accessories, also yachts, and many more. Next is economic resources. Are input used in the production of goods and and services. So there are four economic resources: land, labor, capital, and technology. First is the land. In natural resources, not man-made, covering anything found on or under land, including water, forest, minerals, and animals. A land is important to our economics because it's a primary factor of production. For example, sa land tayo nagtatanim ng palay para gawing bigas. Second, labor is the human effort expended in the production regarding the basic economic problem. Labor is the one who help or the one who work to solve the economic problem. For example, is childcare, education, pay and incentives, fertility, discrimination, their non-work time, and pension reforms. So next is the entrepreneur. Is the one who organize all other factors of production to be used in the creation of goods and services. Also, the entrepreneurs are the one who operate the businesses and a promoter in our industry. So soon we will become an entrepreneur someday. So next is capital. Is a material used in the productions of goods and services. In business, we need a capital because we need to have an investment for our own goods.
Economic activity is a social science concerned with man's basic economic activity. It consists of an effort to satisfy human wants with the use of goods and services. They have three elements involved of this object of satisfaction. First, human wants is unlimited, means the people never get enough, that there is always something else that they would like to have, like basic needs and luxury goods. For the example of basic needs, foods, transportation, bills, and education, and etc. For luxury goods is like branded bags, branded shirt, branded shoes, sports cars, and etc. Second, use of resources. The natural environment, use of raw material, energy, organism, and surface area. Third, the technique of production. It shows how resources are used and combined in production. They have three categories involved of this production. First is job production, second is batch production, and third is flow of production.
Job production is a production of high quality, customized products that meet customers' specific needs. Job production processes involve a highly skilled individual, a group of workers, or a company working on one task at a time. Batch production is a method whereby a group of identical products are produced simultaneously. It is up to the manufacturer to decide how big the batch will be and how often these batches will be made. Flow production is also known as continuous production. It is defined by the continuous movement of items through the production process. Consumption is the basic consuming unit in the economy is what we call the household. First, since the human wants are unlimited, to maximize their satisfaction. All of them cannot satisfied at a time because of limited resources. All these want compete among themselves to be satisfied first. Second, opportunity cost is a potential for gain profit from a missed opportunity, the result of choosing one alternative and forgoing another. Economic analysis and economic policy. Economic analysis essentially entails the evaluation of costs and benefits. It starts by ranking projects based on economic viability to aid better allocation of resources. And it aims in analyzing the welfare impact of a project. Logic. What is logic? is a tool of economics that is used to analyze the relationship between economic variables and create a conclusion based on the relationship. For the example, if the price is increased and the demand will decrease, this rule will determine how you to analyze. A statistic. What is a statistic? A statistic is the basis of hypothesis testing. A statistic is a way for you to test the results of a survey or experiment to see if you have a meaningful result. Mathematics. The third tool which is able to analyze, to conceptualize hypothesis for empirical validation. This is the table of price of X and quantity demand. If you can see the table, if there is an increased price, there will be a decreased demand. If there is a decreased price, there will be an increased demand. And that is what I understand the table. Example using the three tools. The following are sales of your alcohol for January, February, and March is 2,000, 5,000, and 10,000. First bullet. You want to find out how the first quarter average of 2020 differs from the first quarter average of 2019, which is 3,000. Second bullet. You can have to add all the first quarter month of 2020. You can add the 2,000, 5,000, and 10,000 for January, February, and March. And the total is 17,000. And you can divide by 3. And the result is 5,666.67. And the third bullet, since 2020 result is almost double 2019, your average sales in 2020 are far greater than in 2019.
Hello everyone, so I'm going to discuss the purpose of economic analysis. So what is economic analysis? Economic analysis is an aid in understanding the operation of economy because it explains how economic variables are related to one another. And it permits the prediction of result of a change in the economic variables, and it serves as a basis for policy formulation. So, an economic analysis is the study of economic system. It may also be a study of production process or industry. The analysis aims to determine how effectively the economic or something within the operating. So let's proceed to economic policy. So what is economic policy? Economic policy consists of the intervention of courses of the action taken by the government or the other private institution to manipulate the result of economic activity. So there are the three types of economic policy. The first one is monetary. Monetary is the policy used to regulate the flow and creation currency. The second is fiscal policy, deals with the government, spending and tax policies. The last one is trade policy, deals with the regulation of international and local transactions. Now, what is the function of economic policy theory? The first one is to explain the nature of activity. Two is to predict what will happen of economy as a fact of change. One of the important rules of economic theory is to keep track of benefit and